All right. Welcome, everyone, to the second installment of this month in Microsoft Teams. My name is Tim Homan. I'm a project manager with Peters & Associates. And one of the areas that I've been tasked with is to become a subject matter expert for Teams, which is a moving target because Teams is a ever-evolving application. So this month in Microsoft Teams is a monthly series where we look at different Teams functionality, and new features, and then as we go, I'm going to try to add some tips and tricks. So let's get started. So the first thing to address is why GoToWebinar, GoToMeeting. So it's a lot of factors involved here. We sign a contract, so we're paying for it. It's difficult to do a Teams presentation within the Teams application. And when we started doing this, the Teams live event platform wasn't as developed as it is now. And one of the big areas we're still unsure about is registration. So the ability to have people register and send out reminders and all those things through Teams live meetings. So it's evolving, and we may switch to it at some point. So a light agenda for today, just a quick overview of Teams, get everybody on the same page. The focus of today's meeting is meetings. And then after the presentation, I'll jump out and demo some of the things that I've been talking about. So I saw this slide recently from Microsoft. I just thought it was a good way to set the stage for Teams. So imagine a world where you can have your meetings, have your chat, incorporate phone calls, share files, not replace your email, but reduce email, create to-do list, develop dashboards, right? You're going to integrate your business processes and apps, automate routines. You're going to include third-party applications that you already use. It's communication, collaboration, and it's all in one location. And this really is the essence of Teams. It's the hub for collaboration. So as I mentioned, it's not a replacement for email, but there's a lot of integration between Outlook and Teams. So it will definitely reduce email. Your calendar that shows up in Teams is the same calendar you see in Outlook. It's a platform that was really developed to create and share content. So it incorporates OneDrive and SharePoint. Meetings, that's what we're talking about today. And if you add your phone into that, it's one application that can meet all your needs. Chat we talked about last month. It's just a way to connect across your organization. So this is how we see Teams being rolled out in environments. Today, it's really, the envisioning piece. And we could spend hours talking about all the different functionality in Teams. Anytime you roll out something like this, you really should have a governance discussion before it gets too far along, before people are sharing information and creating sites and you don't have a good idea of what's going on there. So if we continue around the wheel, right, we take these first pieces and develop a plan on how you're going to adopt that, and then we'll bring in engineers to, turn the knobs and click the dials and get your environment all set up with governance and a plan to roll it out. So like I showed last month, just high-level statistics. Teams was launched in 2017. The pandemic has really skyrocketed its usage. So almost 100 million additional daily users, since last October. Organizationally, when Teams launched in 2017, there were 50,000 organizations using it. Now it's over 500,000. And then 91 of the Fortune 100 companies are currently using Microsoft Teams. So hopefully in another couple of months, I'll be able to update this slide. And I'm just showing here in the last 2 quarters, 200 new features were added to Teams. And that really is what's driving these, webinars. So that's the high level, what is Teams and background. So let's jump into meetings. So I like this slide to start with because it shows, a bunch of different ways you can meet with Teams. There's the traditional meeting room where you have, right, a one-touch to join device, typically multiple monitors where you have people on one and presentation on the other. Most people are using, right, some kind of desktop or laptop, and then, you know, the mobile. I'm going to focus a little bit on mobile because, you know, you can have almost the same experience on a mobile device that you can from a laptop or in a meeting room. For example, you can, you know, be a contributor to the meeting using your mobile device. I'll do this in the demo. I'll share a photo from my phone, and you'll be able to see it in the web client and the desktop client. So just because you're not sitting at your desk in your office or at your computer at home, you can still participate in the meeting and have just as good of an experience. Taking that a little further, Teams is, you know, a smart application. So if your battery's running low and you're doing video, it's going to prompt you to turn off your video to save power. Similarly, if your network is poor, it's going to prompt you to turn your video off to save bandwidth. The meeting will auto reconnect if your call drops. When you start the meeting, you can have it call you instead, or you can just dial into the meeting like a traditional, right, audio conference. This is some of the evolution of the Teams. You know, background blur was something that was added along the way. And it's just making remote meetings, you know, better because you don't have to worry about what's behind you. I have chosen the Amazon $15 backdrop, which I manually change. But having the ability to go into your meeting and just pick different backgrounds just makes your home environment a better environment. I don't want to spend a lot of time on rooms, and maybe that'll be a future webinar because there's a lot of hardware out there to make meeting rooms just great. You can have a small room with a single monitor and a small device to a full-blown conference room with multiple monitors and, you know, a full audio system. So there's a lot to talk about there. It's part of meetings, but not the focus of today. Really, what we're here to talk about today is, you know, what's new. So let's just jump right in. 3x3 video, not new, right? This is what Teams launched with. Right off the bat, people were complaining, I want to be able to see more people. So quickly, they expanded that. Now it's a 7x7 grid, and you can have 49 cameras on the screen at once. I can't imagine you'd want to do more than that because I don't know how you could even pay attention to that many. But it just shows how the platform has developed and developed quickly. So taking, right, this to the next step, it's together mode, which is a new way of showing, right, your video meetings. It's more collaborative, right? You get to see yourself in the screen. This is one of the things that's hard to demo, especially when it's just me. So I threw this little clip in here. So together mode isn't necessarily new. What they have added is new backgrounds. So you can meet at a coffee shop in together mode. You can meet at the office. You can have your Christmas party in a winter setting where everybody dressed appropriately. So just kind of a neat way to take that video meeting and turn it up a notch, make it more interactive, get people more involved. Relatively new is the join screen. And what this lets you do is kind of adjust all your settings right before you jump into the meeting. So you can turn your camera on or off, set your background screen. You have all your audio settings, whether in a room or just using your computer. But you don't have to go into settings in the client beforehand and make all those adjustments. You can do it right here, right before you click the join button. Meeting options are new. So when you're in a meeting, you can click on the three dots, go down to meeting options, and you have all these controls now. There was a way to access this before the meeting started. You would click on a link from the calendar, which would take you to a web page. It was cumbersome, but this gives you, right, controls that are very useful right while you're in the meeting. So by default, your tenant is going to determine how these are set. But let's say by default, your tenant sets, right, we're not going to let people bypass the lobby. They're going to have to wait until an organizer lets them in. You can manually override that. So if you're the first one in the meeting, you can just flip that switch and now people will automatically join. They don't have to wait in the lobby. Another useful setting here is the ability to change, right, who can present. The way this is set up, everyone can. So at any time, somebody else can share their screen and kind of kick you out. But you can change that and make the other people attendees, not organizers of the meeting. So I can show that in the demo as well. Another new item is live reactions. So raise your hand was added a while ago, but now you can do other things. And so again, something hard to demo, but you can see how that works in a meeting. So clapping of the hands, a smiley face, just makes meetings more interactive, right? People feel like they're participating more in the meeting. This one I really like. This is relatively new as well. You can use Microsoft Forms, which is a free Microsoft application, part of Teams, to conduct a poll right in the meeting. So this is just a simple, right, when should our next meeting be? And you can gather that information while you're still meeting. It shows up in the chat, and so everybody has access to it. The results show up real time, and then it's saved with the meeting, so you can go back and you can view the chat and see how people responded. So something else I can demo. Breakout rooms. You know, because we're doing so much remote meeting, things that you may have done in the past are much more difficult. So this is a great option. And what I really like about it is, you know, it's automated. So I can say I want 2 rooms and I want you to automatically put people in the rooms. I click the button, create rooms, and then I click another button to start the meeting, and it automatically will split the attendees of your meeting into the rooms. And then when you're done, you can bring them back together. So a great way to do right things that you may have traditionally done in a big meeting virtually. And I can kind of demo that, but I'm only going to have 3 people in my meeting, so it's not quite the same. Attendance, not real new, but something people may not be familiar with. From the participants pane, you can click on download attendance and you'll get a report that looks just like this, where you have right who joined, when they joined, if they left and came back, so all that information. Something that has to be enabled, but once it is, it's available in your meetings. So this one, I want to see if this demo will work. I'm not sure, because when I started presenting, I wasn't sure if I was including computer audio or not, so it'll be interesting to see. But it's noise suppression. So again, something hard to demo. If you go on settings for Teams under devices, noise suppression is a new option. By default, it's set to auto, but you can go with high, which is really going to do a good job of suppressing noise, dogs barking, right, potato chip bags crinkling, but it's going to use more resources on your computer. You can set it low, you can turn it off. So this is what that would look like. So hopefully you were able to hear that. The vacuum was on, and when the noise suppression was enabled, it completely cut it out. So it's really powerful, again, making remote meetings, meeting from home, just a much better experience. So that's the kind of big picture, you know, new features. Now I want to focus on just meeting tips. Some of these are going to be, you know, old things you may be familiar with, but there's going to be some new things thrown in here as well. So just, you know, some basic stuff, right? You started a meeting, but you forgot to include someone, or it's someone not part of your organization. You need to get them the link to the meeting. Right from the meeting, you can click on, right, that little icon there and copy the meeting. Then you could paste it into an email and send it off to them. If they're part of your organization, you can just type right in this dialog box right here, invite someone to a meeting. So a couple quick ways to get people that you may have missed into that meeting. Something that's really powerful and everyone should be doing is recording your meetings. So again, from the options, right, three buttons, come down and click on start recording. By default, it goes to Microsoft Stream, makes it a private meeting just for your organization. There is a way to change that to store it in OneDrive so it can be shared. But what you can do with that is go back then later and transcode it so the text is all available. You can search through the text. Other people can watch it. You can just use it as a reference. So a great tip you should be using recording your meetings. So raise your hand. Again, not necessarily the newest feature. It kind of goes on with those gestures I showed. But one thing that I have found in video meetings is people talking over one another. So it's, for some reason, easier when you're in a room to see when someone's going to talk. And it's not as easy to anticipate that when you're in a video meeting. And oftentimes people will talk over one another. So, but just simple, right, raise your hand, it highlights the user, and then the organizer can call on them and lower their hand, and just makes the flow a little better in your meetings. Something new, you can send urgent notifications in the chat area of a meeting. So when we're having a meeting, I ask someone to post, right, an invoice or something that we're discussing, and they didn't see the message. So you can mark that as urgent, and it will repeat every 2 minutes for 20 minutes. It's really annoying, but it should get their attention and get you the information you need. Another thing, you know, people should probably try to do is the spotlight feature. So if you have a lot of people sharing video, but one person is the primary talker, you can just, you can be the organizer, or it can be a participant, and you can spotlight their video, and it's just like pinning the video, but it does it for everyone. So you can pin someone's video on your own, and that would make them the main video on your display. But if you spotlight them, it does that for everyone. And lastly, end the meeting. So typically you would just leave, right? Because that's what it shows up there, but then the meeting can kind of continue on without your involvement. So if you want the meeting to be over, you just click the drop down and you click on end meeting, and the meeting's over for everyone. So here I thought I would ask a question, since we've done two. I have got a few choices for what's coming next. So if Sam can pop out a poll, you know, what do people want to see maybe for next month? So we work with a third party that does a great job with Teams Voice, and they can show you all kinds of great ways to do calling. There are all kinds of apps built into Teams. I could focus just maybe on the Microsoft ones for one. I could do third party for another. Governance, because that's a big part of how you should be rolling out your Teams, or Teams sites, because kind of all this stuff comes together in Teams sites. So we'll pop that out and get some feedback on that, and then I'll jump out and do a demo. All right. All right. Teams sites, it looks like. So I'll use that to set up our next few months, and we'll do Team sites next month. So I just want to show, right, a couple ways to create a meeting. For people used to doing meetings in Outlook, once you have the desktop client installed, you'll get a new button that will show up in Outlook, right? And so you just click on a new meeting, and now it's just like you're creating a meeting in Outlook, but now you're creating one, and it's going to be a Teams meeting. So pretty straightforward. We're slow today. But you get the meeting information down below here, which is nice. So you know that you're getting your Teams meeting. Same thing, you know, title, who's required, optional. you have some options here. So if you have Teams Rooms, you have some choices here. So that's the first way to create a meeting. I'm not going to do that. I'll jump over to my client here and I'll show you. Here's a couple of ways. So Meet Now just lets you do an instant meeting. So you can click the button and you're starting a meeting and you can invite people. So it's not scheduled, but if you know people are available, you can join the meeting and invite people like I showed. There was the new join screen. Or you can do it like a calendar event. One thing I like about this option is if I add a few people here, my two guys, Grady and Lee. Right here on this window, it gives you suggested times to meet, which I find very useful. Outlook does it, it's a little different, but this is just right in the flow of setting up your meeting. So if I change the day, it'll show me times available. I show the start time. If I change the start time, it'll do that as well. So I'm actually going to send this invite out. So before I get into, I guess I can show you real quickly where that noise suppression setting is. So it's just, you click on your icon, go down to settings, and then under devices, and here's your noise suppression. So again, auto by default, but you have high, low, or off. That's just how you get there. So here's my meeting that's coming up. I'm going to join from the desktop and show you that join screen real quick. So I've already set this up so I can use my laptop camera so we can have another video going. And I already preset that I want the background blur on, or you'll see my basement and ruin the illusion. So here's my computer audio settings. And so it's just real easy. I can join. And now if I switch over to my web client, I can join from there as well. You don't have quite the same options on the web. And then through the phone. And what I really like is that you have more options on the phone because you're using the Teams application than you do on the web. So turn off audio, mute that, join, come over here and join as well. All right. And so now I have a meeting going with people. And so here, right, are some of the other options. So let's say I want to spotlight someone. So you can see on the phone, right, they see, this would, if there were 3 people sharing video, you would see the 3. Oh, interesting. So you would see the 3 videos, but if I go here and show participants, I can spotlight. So spotlight for everyone, yes. And now on the mobile client, you'll see just one video show up. And there it goes. So it kind of changes the focus, right? We're just looking at the one video. It's less distracting because someone's presenting and now our focus is on them. So we can exit that as well. Exit. So again, from this participant screen, here are the 2 places you can invite someone. So if I wanted to invite somebody else to the meeting, there's other people in my attendant. I'm not going to invite anyone, but if I just start typing, right, someone in my organization, or I can just come over here and copy the link information, send that off. Again, so close participants and go into more actions again. Meeting options. So who can bypass the lobby, right? Who can present? I could change that to just people from your organization, only me. I could pick people. Those are your options there. It's just how to access that. Again, if we go back up here under more actions, here's where you can turn on the recording. So we can start recording the meeting from here. I wanted to show, so from a mobile device, let's see, there we go. There's some more options on the mobile device, but I can share. So I want to share a photo. I'm just going to go right to my photo gallery. I'm going to start presenting. So I actually took a old Android phone and turned it into a shortcut device. So I can click on the Teams button if I want to open a Teams app, if I want to mute or unmute my microphone, and it just sits right there on my desktop. So again, I'm sharing this from my mobile device, and right, if I went full screen on the app here, it really is a good way to participate from, right, a mobile device. And you get the same, here it is on the web. Okay, let's stop presenting. Let's see, there was Teams popping up a notification in the middle of a meeting. Okay, let's do this one. So if we do show conversation, a lot going on in this meeting. So right here is the, now that I have the chat window open for the meeting, the exclamation is how you change the urgency of the meeting, of the message. So so if I post this now, it's going to start popping up on everyone's screen. So here it is on the web, right? There's a chat, and you saw it pop up on my mobile, and it's going to pop up every 2 minutes now for 20 minutes until that gets acknowledged. A couple other options I just want to show real quick here is how you get to the right large gallery or the together mode. So things you can't really do unless people are participating and sharing their video. So this is how you get to those. And once you have together mode up, it gives you the option to change the background. So one person changing the background on together mode is going to change it for everybody in the meeting. Again, here are the live reactions. So I can do a little clap here. You see it down on my video down below. Again, it isn't best in this, and it's not available on the web or on the mobile, but it is available on the desktop. And as features get rolled out, typically they go to the desktop first, and then they get added to mobile, and then eventually some are going to make it to the web. So let's do a poll. So if I come down into chat, and then I click on forms, it's going to bring up a dialog box. Of course, this is going to be really slow. So, question, when do you want to meet next? And then I can add some options. Monday, Tuesday, or one more. Thursday. Share automatically after voting. I'm not going to make it anonymous. I'm not going to allow multiple answers. So I'm going to save that. That's what it's going to look like, and I'm going to send it. I'm actually going to vote. There we go. So here from my phone, I can pull that up. Oh, I'm going to get rid of these notifications. All right. So here we go. Let's click on the chat. There we go. So I want to meet next Monday. I'm going to submit my vote. Here it is on the desktop. Let's go Monday again. And then on the web, here's the notification in the chat. It's working. It's just slow. And we're going to vote Tuesday. And there we go. And so now I can come over and I can look at the results. They're right there. Everybody can see them. So we get votes for Monday, one for Tuesday. We're going to meet on Monday. So pretty slick way to take your meeting up to the next level. Again, real quick, here is the icon for breakout rooms. Again, something that needs to be enabled before it works for you. You can do up to, I don't know how many, a lot. I'm going to pick 2 real quick. Automatically assign people to rooms. I'm going to create the rooms. And I should add a start. So room has Grady, room 2 has Lee. And if I start the rooms, they're going to be put into separate meetings now. So organizers move you into the room. So join. This one's already starting. So now they're in their breakout rooms. If there's more people, they could meet individually. And then I can come back. I could join either one if I wanted to, right? Now that they're both there, I could jump into this room or that room. And then when I'm done, I can close them, and that'll bring them back to the main meeting. And the last thing I want to show real quick is attendance. From the participant, when I click on show participants, there's a drop down here and download attendance. So I can just click that, and now it's going to download the attendance, and I'll have that file. So I think I covered everything I wanted to. Jump back over here. We can ask if anybody has any questions. That's next slide. Ton of information. I went through it really fast. You know, if you're interested in, you know, help with any of these things, you know, it's what we do. I've done a ton of these meetings. We start with a jump start, but we have all kinds of ways of assisting. Let us know if anybody has any questions on what they've seen today. Feel free to ask, and I'll try to answer. Thank you.